What if I told you you could buy crypto at a discount like Ethereum or stablecoins? I want to talk about a new altcoin gem that I've added to my own portfolio that I think has the potential to be massive. Pendle Finance has figured out how to tokenize yield, and we'll go over what all that means. But this could be the beginning of tapping into $1 trillion derivative market over in the world of TradeFi. What's up YouTube? Welcome back. I am Crypto with Nick, and today I want to talk about Pendle Finance, but I also want to hear from you. So be sure to drop a comment below. Let me know what altcoin gems you're looking at, projects you're excited about coming up. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and of course, come join the completely free community Discord. Let's get into it. Pendle Finance has actually been around for a while. You can see here, it's been tracking on DeFi Llama since 2021. And we saw the TVL, of course, drop with the rest of the crypto bear market. But really in the last few months, you can see it's skyrocketed past all-time highs and it's sitting around $53 million. And when you come to Pendle Finance for the first time, you're going to see assets at a discount. We notice Ethereum, USDT, and ApeCoin, but there's actually a ton more choices. Pendle is actually deployed here if you see both on Ethereum mainnet and Arbitrum. And so over on Ethereum mainnet, we have things such as USDT, Ethereum, and ApeCoin. And if we come over here to Arbitrum, we actually have GMX's GLP pool. We have, through a partnership with Gains Trade, GDAI, and we also again have USDT. And if you check up here, you can see they have both a simple and a pro version, but simple is definitely easier to understand, while pro can be more fun and you can definitely get involved with a little bit more complex strategies. Let's just start with this Lido pool to talk about how everything works. So here we have Lido at a 6% discount and a maturity of around 600 days. If we check this out, we can actually see there's different discounts and maturities. So here we have 80 days at a 1% discount. We have 600 days at a 6% discount, and also almost 1,000 days at almost a 10% discount. And these are always changing with the market. So let's just say I wanted to buy 5 Ethereum here, right? So we can see if we look down at the bottom, on December 25th, 2024, right, about 600 days from now, I'm going to receive 5.31 Ethereum. This is going to be representative of that 6% discount. And you might be thinking, that's not that exciting, right? I'm going to wait 600 days for a 6% discount, but stick with me because I think you'll be impressed with some of the other things that we can do on this platform. And if you're wondering where the discount comes from, Pendle has figured out a way to tokenize yield. So when you mint a new asset, it actually splits it up into 2 separate tokens. So we can see here one token is the YT. This is the yield token, right? It represents the yield of the asset up to the expiry. And the PT represents the principal token, right? This is the asset itself up to that expiry. So what this means is if you were to stake 100 DAI in something like Compound or Aave, right? It splits it up into 2 separate tokens, right? So you have 100 principal tokens, let's say PT DAI, and then you also have 100 yield tokens, which is YT DAI. And so after 3 months or the maturity date, right, you would get back all your principal as well as you would get back any yield. And what's really cool here is that you can trade long and short different yields. So we have one party here that's holding the principal token, right? That's going to receive everything once it hits maturity. And we have a whole separate party that is holding the yield token, right? A bet on that yield. And a big question I ask is, well, what if I don't want to wait the 600 days and I've changed my mind? Remember, you can actually sell the position before the maturity date. Now, this might depend on some market factors because, again, you can long and short and trade different yields, but you can exit a position fully. Come back to the discount strategies when we go over some of the pro version, but I also want to touch on the pools because I think this is also really cool. So we have the GMX GLP pool, right? 72% boosted APY. We have the Gains GDAI pool, 32%, as well as the USDT pool through its partnership with Stargate here at a 46%. Let's say we want to put $10,000 into this USDT pool, right? So it's over 444 days, earning up to 46.5%. But to get this 46.5, you do have to lock up your Pendle and participate in the VE Tokenomics. So really, let's look at here, this 20% unboosted. So here we can see the swap fees is about 1.3%. A lot of it's coming from Pendle incentives, right? 14%. Then we have the standardized yield rewards, 3%, as well as the principal token fixed APY at 1%, giving us that 20%. So if we check out here, over here on June 26, 2024, right? If we put in 10K, we can expect to get around 2488 in about 444 days, right? This is a pretty nice return. And here you'd be able to come to the dashboard, right? You'd see your token balance, your Pendle, and you'd be able to claim your rewards. Pendle has also introduced VE Tokenomics. So here we can see about 148 million Pendle in circulation, while about 30 million Pendle is locked. So this represents about 20% of the supply. And what I'm trying to keep track of here is as Pendle continues to expand and build its partnerships, I'm looking for this number to grow because that's going to take tokens out of circulation and reduce selling pressure. And you can lock up your tokens anywhere up to 2 years. And you might be interested in locking up your Pendle because you'll earn those boosted rewards like we saw with the USDT pool. You can go ahead and vote on governance as well as earn some revenue from the platform. If you want to know what I'm doing, right now I don't have any of my Pendle locked. It's something I've considered and maybe in the future, but given the state of the market right now, I'd rather remain much more liquid. Once you've locked up your Pendle, you can go in and select all these different pools to vote on. And so ideally you would vote on pools that you most closely align with, so that way you can boost the incentives of those pools. If you've been following Pendle Finance's Twitter, you might have seen these crazy stories on how a user with just $10,000 is now earning yield on 160K. Or you might have seen veGaba, who's been publishing his entire trading journal on how he started with 5,000 GLP and with just 13 days was able to boost that to 6,700, representing a 35% return. And a lot of these strategies you only would ever be able to do through the Pro tab. So let's jump into this. You'll notice that the dashboard changes a lot. You get a ton more info, so let's walk through it. All right, let's take a look at this dashboard and walk through GMX GLP, right? So we still have this maturity of 353 days. We have the underlying APY. This is the APY right now. So if you popped over here to GMX, you can see that, right, the APY is 25%. So coming back over here to Pendle, you also have the implied APY. And you can see here, this is due to the Pendle AMM. This is due to people trading the yield. And so you can now make your bets by actually, you can just buy the yield token itself, or you can even buy just the principal token, because remember, Pendle is separating these two features out. All right, so I switched over to ETH mainnet so you could see a few more choices, but let's talk about when you might want to buy the actual yield token. If we take a look at this example here of STETH with Lido. So when it comes to staking Ethereum, if you're betting that future staked Ethereum yields will be higher than today's implied APY, then it makes sense to go ahead and long the APY of the yield token right now. And if you actually go ahead and click on the yield token, you can actually drill down into this. So this is a week view, and you can see what the implied APY is, as well as the underlying APY, and see how the market has been pricing this week by week. So that way you can kind of get an idea on how you want to make your bets. If we come back and take a look at this STETH, right, the implied APY is actually trading below the underlying. So in this scenario, you're more likely have a chance to profit, but you really have to take a look at everything individually. But this is the kind of things that you would want to look out for and kind of rules of thumb. Now, another perfect example of this is if you want to hedge your yield. So if you believe that this yield is going to fall, then it actually might make sense right now to buy the principal token itself, because you are guaranteed to this asset after maturity. So you're now locking in your yield at this guaranteed implied APY. So if you think post Shanghai that APYs for staked ETH is just going to plummet dramatically, then this would be your chance to lock in a 4.7% rate. As you can see, there's just a ton of different strategies that you can use here, longing and shorting different yields, right? Especially based on your own market predictions and different ways to even hedge your portfolio. So coming back to this example, what this trader did is they bought $10,000 of yield tokens of the USDT pool, right? Allowing them to earn yield on potentially $160,000. And the way this worked was when the pool was first listed, you can see here that the implied yield was only 4%, but the actual yield was almost 5.8%. Of course, you can come over here, they have the transaction. So again, one yield token allows you the rights to collect yield on one USDT. And if the underlying APY stays constant, what we can see here is that the user is on track to make a 40% profit, right? So this is 5 times more than just holding the underlying 5.8. You can create endless strategies here, and there's so many opportunities. It really deserves its own video. So what I'll do is I'll take a link to this thread. I'll throw it in the description. I'll also take a link from veGaba's journal on how he does everything with his GLP. And that way you can go ahead on your own time and just dive into these. So we talked a lot about the different strategies. I kind of want to shift gears and talk about how Pendle is really getting into the LSD play and is bringing a ton of value to this ecosystem. So if you don't know what LSDs are, it stands for liquid staking derivatives. So back in September of 2022, Ethereum made the massive change to change from proof of work to proof of stake. So people essentially have to lock up their ETH to help secure the network. And having all your money locked up isn't really efficient or ideal. So you have these projects, liquid staking derivatives, which if you stake it through their service, they kind of give you this secondary token and you can use it in DeFi, trade it, swap it, and kind of even exit your position early. So a lot of these projects like Lido, Rocket Pool, and Anchor are really fundamental to this idea of liquid staking derivatives. So Pendle themselves has partnered with Aura Finance, which is really ideal. What this is kind of a convex forward balancer if you're familiar with the curve wars, and ideally should just bring more more users, more fees, and more revenue to all the platforms. And what's been really cool here is they've even added Frax Finance recently. Here we have the Power Rangers. I guess, I don't know, they're going to go form some Megazord, but we have Frax Finance now, Anchor, Rocket Pool, Lido, and of course, Pendle. If you're interested in farming, the liquidity over on the arbitrum side is actually through Camelot. You can see here, you can pair it with Pendle ETH. This is going to give you an APR of about 157% right through the Nitro pools, which is pretty awesome. I also want to talk about the price action of this token. So since it's launched on Arbitrum, I mean, it's absolutely exploded. Back in February, we can see we're up about 3x. I mean, the volume here is actually insane. This isn't really a full picture. Remember, they launched in 2021. You can go check out some legacy charts over on ETH mainnet. It's kind of what you would expect, right? Pumped dramatically during the bull run, right? It fell to the lows of the bear depth and is really now been kind of finding its value, finding its product market fit, and has now been kind of climbing steadily upward, which is just awesome to see. So I guess the question is where do I think this thing can go? So right now it's sitting around 50 cents. I believe this market cap is wrong. I think it's around 70 million. So looking at this, I feel like this is something that could easily hit $1, but I'm really not on any timeline here, right? As the market approaches Shanghai, I think there is going to be some uncertainty, right? We could see a lot of volatility. So I really don't like to give price targets in moments like this, but it's definitely something that I'm betting on. And if you're always curious about my current thoughts, whether you're watching this a week from now or months from now, always pop in the Discord and I'll give you the current thoughts that I have on a project and, you know, what I've done in the meantime. One thing I want to talk about here is the tokenomics. This is actually from my own thread I wrote back in March. So the tokenomics here is pretty good in my opinion. We have about 65% circulating, which is always great to see, right? 5.7% to the team vested, right? A very small portion, awesome. Ecosystem fund 19%, as well as incentives about 10%. And you can see here's the supply right now and the expectations. And what I want to also know is that the emissions should decrease at about 1% up until about April of 2026, somewhere around here. It pretty much wraps it up. So if you have any questions, come follow me on Twitter, drop me a message. Again, come join the completely free community Discord and stick around. Check out some of my other videos like the crypto airdrop guide. And next week, I'm going to be talking about another altcoin gem. So be sure to hit that subscribe. See you in the next one. Cheers and happy farming.